Have you ever looked at someone successful and thought, what's their secret? How did they get there? You might assume it was one big moment, a $1 million idea, a huge break, some viral opportunity. But in reality, most lives don't change in big, dramatic explosions. They shift quietly, like a plane changing direction by just 1 degree. Over time, that small adjustment leads you to a completely different destination. That's the power of simple actions. They're easy to ignore, easy to underestimate. But repeated over time, they have the power to transform your entire life. And the truth is, the simple actions, the stuff that seems too basic, is often exactly what stands between the life you have and the life you want. Let me explain why. 1. Small actions. Compound. Like interest. We live in a world addicted to instant results. We want abs in 7 days, riches in 30, happiness by tomorrow. But real growth doesn't happen in dramatic overnight leaps. It happens through quiet, consistent effort. Take brushing your teeth. It's such a small thing, right? 2 minutes a day. But skip it for weeks, and your entire dental health collapses. Do it daily, and your smile stays bright. That's compounding. The same applies to every other area of life. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't seem like much, but over a year, that's 3,650 pages, a dozen books or more. That kind of knowledge changes your mindset, your habits, your future. Walking for 30 minutes daily may not look like a transformation, but do it consistently and it reshapes your health, boosts your energy, clears your mind. Saying thank you to your partner or child every day, that simple expression deepens bonds, builds trust, and grows love. It's not just about doing the thing once. It's about showing up again and again, even when you don't see results immediately. 2. Simple actions. Build identity. Every action is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Think about that. When you journal for 5 minutes, you're not just writing thoughts. You're casting a vote for, I'm someone who reflects. When you go to the gym, you're casting a vote for, I'm someone who prioritizes health. When you wake up without hitting snooze, you're voting for, I'm disciplined. Over time, those small votes build a new identity. And once your identity shifts, your entire life follows. People struggle to change not because they're lazy, but because they're trying to force big results without changing their identity. But identity changes through action, especially small, consistent ones. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. You might miss a day, sure, but each time you show up again, you're saying, this is who I want to be, and your life will eventually mirror that decision. 3. The brain loves simple routines. We often think we need motivation to act, but neuroscience shows it's the other way around. Action creates momentum, and momentum builds motivation. Here's the thing. Your brain is wired to favor the familiar. That means if you're used to skipping workouts, procrastinating, or scrolling endlessly on your phone, your brain will keep doing that on autopilot. But you can rewire it. Not through pressure or guilt, but through simple, repeatable behaviors. Let's say every morning you make your bed. It takes, 60 seconds? But suddenly your brain starts recognizing, hey, I've started the day with order. Do that long enough, and your brain begins to crave more structure, more progress. Then maybe you drink water instead of coffee first thing. You stretch. You journal. These are tiny wins, and your brain gets hooked on the momentum. Simple actions lower the barrier to entry. And once you're in motion, your brain doesn't want to stop. That's how you flip the script, by making small changes that feel natural, not forced. 4. Consistency is louder than intensity. There's a reason people burn out. They sprint into self-improvement like it's a 100-meter dash. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., go vegan, meditate for an hour, and run 10 miles. That lasts a week. Maybe. Then they collapse under the weight of too much change too fast. And when the results don't come instantly, they quit, feeling like failures. But consistency is what builds results, not intensity. It's better to meditate for 5 minutes every day than to meditate for 1 hour once a month. It's better to save $5 daily than to wait for the perfect time to save $1,000. Think of your favorite creators, mentors, or leaders. You trust them because they show up regularly. They don't need to be flashy every time. They're just present, reliable, consistent. Your own life works the same way. When you start showing up in small ways, for yourself, your goals, your dreams, you begin to build self-trust. And self-trust is what keeps you going when motivation fades. 5. Small changes. Create big energy shifts. We often underestimate how one small change can ripple across our entire emotional world. Let's say you start going to bed 30 minutes earlier. That's a small change. But now you wake up more rested. You're less irritated. You smile more. Because of that, you're kinder to others. You have more energy to focus. Maybe that leads you to send one email that opens a new opportunity. You see how quickly one small act can reshape your day? One morning workout can improve your posture, your energy, your confidence. And maybe because of that, you speak up in a meeting and change the course of your career. We don't live in isolated moments. Everything is connected. When you shift just one piece of the puzzle, the picture starts to look different. 6. You build momentum in the dark. Here's something that's hard to accept. Your simple actions will go unnoticed for a while. Nobody claps when you read instead of scroll. Nobody sees when you skip dessert. No one applauds when you meditate or turn down a toxic friend. But that doesn't mean those choices aren't working. Every time you make a healthy choice, you're planting a seed. And like any seed, it takes time to sprout. But that doesn't mean nothing's happening beneath the surface. In fact, most of the real growth happens in the dark. And when those roots take hold, that's when things change fast. Because now, you're not just surviving, you're becoming unshakable. So if you're in that boring middle phase, where you're doing all the right things but not seeing fireworks, stay the course. That's the zone where transformation is quietly unfolding. 7. Simple actions are the ultimate form of self-respect. We talk a lot about self-love and confidence like they're feelings we need to chase. But you don't feel your way into self-respect. You act your way there. When you show up for yourself, even in tiny ways, you're telling your subconscious, I matter. I'm worth the effort. Simple acts like eating healthy, setting boundaries, writing your goals, these aren't just tasks. They're declarations. They say, I believe in a future version of me. And when you stack enough of those declarations, you begin to live from a place of quiet, grounded confidence. Not because life is perfect, but because you know you've got your own back. 8. The simpler it is, the easier it is to repeat. And here's the final thing for today. People give up on change because they make it too complicated. If you want to meditate, you don't need a candle, perfect silence, and 30 free minutes. You need 2 minutes in a chair. If you want to get in shape, you don't need a gym membership and supplements. You need 10 push-ups in your room. If you want to save money, you don't need a financial advisor. You need to skip that one unnecessary purchase. Simple isn't weak, it's strategic. Because when something's simple, it's repeatable. And if it's repeatable, it becomes a lifestyle. That's where real change happens. Not through pressure, but through simplicity that sticks. It's not about dramatic change, it's about directional change. Simple actions, repeated consistently, not only change your habits, they rewrite your identity. You become the kind of person who shows up, who grows, who shifts reality. We're going to go deeper into real-life examples, break down common blocks that keep people from starting, and show how you can build momentum today, even if you feel stuck, tired, or overwhelmed. We talked about how simple actions compound, shape your identity, and quietly rewire your life. But now, let's get practical, because I know how it feels. You want change, you believe in the power of small steps, but when it comes to real life, you're tired, stuck, busy, or even afraid to start. So let's tackle that. Let's talk about what gets in the way of consistent action and how to break through no matter what season of life you're in. 9. The real reason we don't start. Here's a harsh truth. It's not that you don't have time. It's not that you don't have resources. It's not even that you're lazy. It's fear. Fear that we'll try and still fail. Fear that we'll be laughed at. Fear that we'll be consistent for months and nothing will happen. But let me offer you this. Not trying doesn't protect you. It guarantees the very outcome you're afraid of. You're already living the consequence of inaction. You might not feel proud of where you are, but you have to understand, it didn't happen from one big decision. It happened from the accumulation of tiny neglected moments. And the way out is the same, one choice at a time. The first small action you take might feel meaningless, but in truth, it's an act of defiance. A signal to your brain that says, I am not giving up on myself. 10. Real-life example, the 1-minute rule. I want to introduce you to a rule that changed thousands of lives. The 1-minute rule. It says, if something takes less than 60 seconds, do it immediately. That might mean drinking a glass of water, putting away your shoes, wiping the counter, texting someone back, making your bed. Now you might think, how can a 1-minute action matter? But here's the key. It's not the task. It's the shift in momentum. You break the chain of procrastination. You create movement. And once you're in motion, your brain naturally wants to keep going. You start with 1 minute, then you do 5, then maybe 15. And before you know it, you've built a rhythm. All because you honored one simple decision. 11th. Momentum. Motivation. Let's be honest. Motivation is unreliable. You wake up some days ready to conquer the world. Other days you just want to stay in bed and disappear. That's normal. Motivation is an emotion. It comes and goes. But you know what doesn't lie? Momentum. Once you're in motion, everything becomes easier. That's just physics. And motion doesn't come from hype. It comes from habit. That's why simple actions are so powerful. They don't require you to feel good. They just ask you to start. And the moment you do, the chemistry in your brain shifts. Your nervous system calms. Your energy lifts. You feel capable again. That's the magic of small, repeatable wins. They build trust. They restore power. 12. The habit stacking hack. If you're struggling to fit new habits into your life, Here's one of the most underrated tools: habit stacking. It's simple. Attach a new habit to an existing one. This way, your brain doesn't see it as extra work. It becomes a ritual. Examples: after you brush your teeth, say one affirmation. While your coffee brews, read one inspirational quote. After you turn off your alarm, stretch for 60 seconds. Every time you get into your car, take 3 deep breaths. This works because your brain is already running those routines on autopilot. When you stack a new behavior on top of them, it piggybacks off that momentum. Start small. Choose habits that are laughably easy. Once they're built in, you'll feel like you're winning every single day. 13. The power of micro-commitments. Let's break the perfectionist myth. Most people never start because they think, I have to journal for 30 minutes. I need to work out for an hour. I have to meal prep every day. But you don't. All you need to do is show up for 2 minutes. Why? Because once you've started, the hardest part is over. Tell yourself, I'll write just 1 sentence. I'll do just 5 squats. I'll clean just 1 corner. Often, that tiny commitment turns into more. But even if it doesn't, you still won. You honored your word. And that builds self-respect. You don't have to climb the whole mountain today. Just take 1 step, and then take the next. 14. Simple doesn't mean easy. It means possible. Let's be clear. Just because something is simple doesn't mean it's easy. Waking up early is simple, but it's hard when you're exhausted. Saying no to junk food is simple, but it's hard when you're stressed. Writing down goals is simple, but it's hard when you feel lost. That's okay. But the beauty of simple actions is they're always possible. No matter your energy, your mood, your background, you can still do one small thing. And that's where transformation lives, in the realm of possible, in the land of daily courage. 15. Big lives are built on small acts of courage. You don't need to be fearless to change your life. You just need to act, despite fear. Every time you show up when it's hard, you're laying bricks for a life of meaning. Every time you go for that walk instead of staying in bed. Every time you choose a book over social media. Every time you speak kindly to yourself instead of criticizing. You are choosing a future that looks different than your past. And these choices, they matter more than anyone clapping for you. They matter more than any likes or applause. Because you're building something bigger: integrity. 16. Your future self is watching. Here's a truth we rarely sit with. Everything you do today, your future self has to live with. You can't control the past. You can't predict the future, but you can make today a gift to your future self. That doesn't mean perfection. It means taking one action, however small, that your future self will thank you for. What if you stopped trying to change everything all at once and just asked, what's the one thing I can do today to honor the life I want? That's it. That's the seed you plant. And when you wake up tomorrow and do the same, that's how forests grow. 17. Closing thoughts. The real secret of change. Let me leave you with this. It's not about hacks. It's not about the perfect system. It's about showing up every day, even when it's boring, even when it's hard. You don't need to overhaul your entire life to change it. You just need to interrupt the pattern. Simple actions are not weak. They're wise. They anchor you, center you, move you forward. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start where you are. Use what you have. And trust this. Your daily choices shape your destiny more than any grand moment ever will. So breathe. Take that small step. Let it be enough. And tomorrow, do it again.